Courtney's composition notebook. Nice. All right. I'm here with Courtney Dow, who I've known for many years. I'm trying to remember
the very first time. I have this memory of us meeting in a house. I think it was maybe
your house?
I think it was your house. I think it was in...
Did I have
a house? No, maybe it was someone else's house. It was a third party.
Oh.
And it was on the... it was right on the DC line. I want to say it was like in Silver Spring, like on 16th Street, like before... Just right before you get into DC.
Huh.
No? It's not ringing any bells?
Most of my life is a blur. So I can't really deny or confirm.
Yeah, I remember there being like 3 or 4 other people. I think my friend Louis Sherman was there, I want to say. And I remember... you played a song and I was just immediately captivated. And I think I played something too. And
at which point I was probably immediately captivated.
Aw. And then we kept running into each other. We had some mutual friends that would keep us in an orbit for a period of like, I don't know, about 5 years. I think I first met you when I was 17 and like...
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then until I left for Europe when I was like 21, 22, we kept running into each other. And then we made some music together, recording at my house.
Yes.
Which was awesome. I wish I still had those recordings.
Oh, I do. I know. Young and carefree.
Yeah. But yeah, we both rambled and left DC and then kind of came back to DC at various points throughout our 20s and 30s. And now we're both parents and both back here in the area.
Yeah.
And I recently saw this amazing interview that you did on WPFW and thought, oh my God, I got to reach out to Courtney.
I'm so glad that you did.
Get you over here so that I can ask you all the questions that I'm trying to answer through this podcast, which is just like what is the essence of creativity? Where does that come from? And what's the process? Where do the good songs come from? And how do you distinguish a good song from a not so good song? Is there such a thing?
Huh. Maybe similar to people, it's somewhat like, what is the song good for? I mean, you were asking, okay, well, you may have something that's really about you being true to yourself.
Yeah.
And in that case, it really may not be very good for public consumption, but entirely necessary for one's own sanity. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, you ready?
Ready, baby.
Okay. That's one more young black man shot down in your city. Brown skin is criminal in your city, and I am guilty of it. Look at me, one more young black man shot down in your city. Brown skin is criminal in your city, and I am guilty of it. Look at me, America, you're afraid of the dark, and you're murdering the children of the sun. Sorry,
It's amazing.
I'm more used to playing live than playing with anything. So like when I can hear myself, I do get kind of self-conscious.
Oh yeah.
So what I'm trying to find is my live sound, my studio sound.
Turn your headphones.
Because
Let me turn your headphones down. Do yourself a favor too.
Yeah.
Don't be like in the helmet. Like
take one off.
Take one off just a little bit. Like I wouldn't take it off all the way.
Okay.
I wouldn't take it off all the way,
like
but give your ear enough.
Like,
Yeah. Good plan.
Oh, thank you.
So does that feel a little bit more? That feel a little bit more like it sort of punctuates with the pick?
Yeah, that's more the kind of presence I want on it.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of my own power. And that's part of it. And I also don't want my voice to be cracking all over the place. I also don't want my power to like take over. So I need it to be exactly where it needs to be. Should I don't know. Okay. So I want to try doing a really kind of wailing version and make sure that we know how hot but I'm not probably going to do the whole thing because I don't want to just exhaust my voice here, but I want to find the place with the song.
Yeah. I think find the place with the song. Forget all of this shit.
Okay.
Like see the words as you're singing them, and don't lose the plot.
Yeah. That's good. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's one more young black man shot down in your city. Brown skin is criminal in your city, and I am guilty of it. Look at me one more. Young black man shot down in your city. Brown skin is criminal in your city, and I am guilty of it. Look at me. America, you're afraid of the dark, and you're murdering the children of the sun. But the deeds you've done will come out in the light, every single one. Young black man shot down, and it's hard to live in peace when you won't stop the killing. So stop the killing. Brown blood is spilling for all your money and war, and that's one more young black man shot down for your country. But brown skin is criminal in your country, so what are we fighting for? America, you're afraid of the dark, and you're murdering the children of the sun. But the deeds you've done will come out in the light, every single one more. Young black man shot down in your city. That's one more. Young black man shot down for your country. And one more. Young black man shot down. America, you're afraid of the dark, and you're murdering the children of the sun. But the deeds you've done will come out in the light, every single one.
Wow.
That felt better.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's the genesis of this song? You were kind of electrified in the kitchen to play this, and it just seemed like it was coming out of our conversation this morning in the car. And I'm always trying to trace out those lightning bolts that hit the brain. Mm-hmm. Like, what is it that's firing? You know, where does that stuff come from? Like when you get the idea, like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and I know, I can see it. I can see the whole thing. It's gonna be great.
For me, as you were posing that question, the word that came to mind was desperation. I remember being in New York City when Sean Bell was murdered, and there was a weight that just seemed to exist all over New York. And I was desperate to relieve myself of that weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the morning, the AM hours of what would have been his wedding day. And he was out with friends, and as the story goes, or as the story of the, I want to say peace officers, but I should say what should have been peace officers, as their story goes, they heard something about a gun, supposedly, and were not dressed in uniforms and were actually allowed to drink on duty.
What?
At that time, yeah.
In the morning? There
was a law, because they were at a bar. I believe Sean Bell and his friends were at a bar. The undercover cops were at a bar. And I think there was a law in New York where they had gone back and forth deciding whether or not undercover police were allowed to drink on duty or not. And at this time, when the shooting happened, they were allowed to do that. And
so they had been monitoring him from the bar. They'd seen him.
Right. They followed them out.
And they got a tip that he might have a gun?
Well, there was some story as to they maybe heard someone say something about a gun, but that's so vague. And they were unarmed, these three men.
Yeah.
They were unarmed and
they were kind of having like a send-off drink before his wedding, like
most likely.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I think they were not allowed to leave the area. The police tried to, I think, stop their vehicle from being able to leave, and then however that kind of face-off went, it ended with 50 shots being fired at this car with these three young men inside.
And you were in the city at the time?
I was selling Christmas trees in Manhattan at that time.
Wow.
And I was on my way to work in the very, very cold weather, New York City winter, and just...
So this is December?
Thereabouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must have been leading up to the holiday.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm. You look at the definition of genocide, and it's actually... it covers a lot more than one might think, and when I looked at the definition and I compared the definition to what I perceive as the overall experience of people of African descent in the United States, certainly not, a unique situation in the world to be experiencing a modern day genocide, but I do see people of African descent in the United States as being a group that is having to deal with that. And it's very difficult because I don't think nearly enough people understand how unisolated these incidents really are, how deeply rooted, how constructed these kinds of incidents really are. The phenomena of ghost skins, people who
what is that?
Are in the Ku Klux Klan, who have intentionally decided to infiltrate United States police.
Oh my God!
Forces. That was a strategy of the KKK to infiltrate law enforcement, and they have.
Yeah.
So they're carrying out their race war, genocide through this vehicle that allows them to.
I've
kill with impunity. That's right.
Those skins.
Yeah, most people haven't, and I hadn't until. So many of these things were occurring that I had to keep digging deeper, and it's so far beyond coincidence or just unfortunate, lack of judgment. It's just really sobering.
Well, how do you hear a song riding on the metro or walking down the street? Like, do you hear the melody, or is it something that like you actually kind of need a guitar and do you sit down to say, I'm going to write a song today, or how does it work? Is it a mix? Is there no formula?
Quite often it's kind of like I need to get it out. I've heard songwriting described, I think it was either by John Lennon or Paul McCartney or maybe both as sometimes a form of just birthing.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it feels that way, like, okay, something's happening, and until it's done, nothing else is really going to be happening. It's just, something needs to happen, and you just try to let it do what it needs to.
Yeah.
So sometimes the songs do feel a bit involuntary, like they're just ready, and I kind of stand there to catch them when they fall.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to can describe it. I mean, and like children, I guess every labor is different.
Composition Notebook is a production of Racecar Radio. www.racecarradio.com.